Let's get back into another video today discussing the big issue, which is the 2022 Senate election in Arizona. Again, I'm talking to you like 5 minutes after it happened, and by 5 minutes, I mean like 5 months after it happened. Again, discussing what happened with Blake Masters and that election recently. Again, completely getting blown out. Very sad to see. We're going to break down what happened, and I just decided to do this, and you're going to have to deal with it and sit here and watch it. Or don't. Anyway, so we see that Mark Kelly, bald manlet, beats Mark Kelly, just destroys Blake Masters. It's embarrassing. He beats him by like 130,000 votes, or about 5%. Pretty pathetic. Anyway, the point is that he lost by 5 in Arizona in a red wave year. What happened, guys? Well, a funding advantage of 1-6 happened. Okay, that's the first issue we have to talk about. Outfunded by 6-1, huge difference. And again, Mitch McConnell couldn't have given him over a $10 million difference, and that would have made the difference only 3-1. So think about that. $18 million more dollars to Blake Masters would have still made him outfunded by 3 times. So again, the money is super important. If the money were even, the Republicans would win every swing state. Okay, I'll tell you what. But since we live in a society where most of the elites are liberal, neoliberals, we have to be careful with what we do. And as you can see here, the Trafalgar Group really was favorable of Blake Masters, and they lost a lot of clout because they really supported Blake. It's super sad, pathetic that they went out like that. We made a lot of money off of Trafalgar, okay? And so for them to screw it up is sad. And you know what? Honestly, 538, rare W. They were right. Lean D. And again, I know what happened in the election, okay? I know there was some shit going on. I know about the lines. I know about the paper count. I know all of it, okay? I know that. So in a fair society, you know how Doctor Strange is like, in 1,000 different dimensions, Blake Masters would have won one. Yes, I get that, okay? I know what happened, I acknowledge it, but at the same time, for YouTube's sake, I'm not going to elaborate, okay? We know what happened. But since we're really competing in a game where the refs are on the side of the other team, we ought to, as the red side, do better. And again, until we can fire the refs and get some better people in charge, we ought to be able to work within the confines of what we're put into, okay? Work within the cage, tunnel our way out of it, not complain like, oh my God, the warden has me locked up. The warden's not going to let you out. He just thinks you're annoying by bitching all the time. So let's get into the fucking meat and potatoes of the issues. Right now, people will say, oh, Blake, he was too far right. That had nothing to do with it. Trust the plan. That seriously, it didn't have anything to do with that. What changed in Arizona? Was it the demography? Was it the demography of Arizona that made the election more Democrat? No. And guess what? It did actually, but it's a red herring. Don't look into it. That wasn't the issue. The difference between the electorate between like 2012 and 2016 is pretty big in support for Democrats, but it isn't in regards to amount of Mexicans voting. So a lot of people will tell you it's the Mexicans that are making Arizona blue, and realistically, it's the college-educated white people that are making it blue faster. Again, we don't need Mexicans here. With me, you already have more than enough. But what I am saying is that overall, they're not the issue right now. Right now, the pressing issue is the suburban people. It is the college-educated whites. These libtards, they need to be solved. Now, look at this. The issue is that, oh, you're too far right. That isn't it. It's the optics. The optics are everything. And again, another segment of the population that people sleep on is the boomer vote. What do the elderly people want? They are small government, socially conservative, but yet like Social Security. Oxymoronic, I know. But since they rely on it, in a lot of cases, a lot of brokies out here in the nursing homes, they need Social Security income. So to them, it's like their UBI. So realistically, we need to protect it. Parentheses, okay? Quotes. You don't need to actually support Social Security. You just got to say you do. It's a very common prerequisite to actually get elected. And if you don't say that, the Democrats will read into every little thing you've said in the past and will eat you alive predicated on that false basis that you don't support Social Security. So we have somebody who worked for Peter Thiel, very capitalistic, very libertarian in concept. This company, Thiel Capital or whatever it was called. And, generally, Blake Masters, as an apprentice of the Gaylord himself, Peter Thiel, was pretty anti-big government, which is okay with me. But ultimately, what you saw was that he was anti-Social Security, and a large extent being, to such a capacity, being debilitating to his future campaign as a general election candidate. And again, him being anti-social security, and by that I mean just colloquially, again, I know the nuances, okay? I know he doesn't just want to delete the program tomorrow. I know that there's like a sunset provision, there's all sorts of different things, but I'm talking as if somebody who doesn't know better, okay? I'm talking about the average voter who's not as smart as I am, because virtually nobody is. And so we got to talk about it from that standpoint. What does the common person think? Oh, so-and-so's pro-social security, the bald manlet, or the tall, skinny guy who's anti. That's all they know. They don't know about, oh, well, that was 10 years ago. That clip is old. And no, 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 no. Okay? Be realistic. And also, that didn't kill him in the Republican primary because Republican old people are not that big into Social Security. But some of the swing voter independent old people are. And so that's where you have to cuck on the Social Security question. Of course you do. Part of this also hurt the Romney campaign in 2012 because Paul Ryan was anti-Social Security. Sort of. So again, be careful on that. It's a third rail, is what they talk about in politics. The third rail, don't touch it. It's unoptical. Don't do it. So there you go. On politics, avert talking about certain things like Social Security. That's one thing that really hurt him really bad. Because again, as somebody who lives in Arizona, I saw on TV all the time. And again, I don't even watch TV, but just walking by, if you walk by your dad watching TV, you're watching the news, bam, Blake Masters is blah, 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 blah. Exactly. Okay. Be careful with that. So as a politician, that really hurt him so bad, okay? I cannot emphasize that enough. And again, it hurt him way more than anything else. There was a video of him like dressed up like in an Indian outfit or something. That didn't really hurt him, okay? Nobody really cares. That's besides the point. What the point is, though, is Social Security, SS, real. Anyway, so we saw him lose, of course. And even at the county level, this bears out, obviously. And again, we can complain about how the election was conducted and all, but obviously, we cannot change it. So who fucking cares? Get over it. Really. So he definitely lost because of Social Security. That's the main issue. And again, some of the Trump stuff, again, so getting a little bit too close to Trump, that's true. But at the same time, Carrie Lake was even more meshed in that culture, and she did better. So be careful with that. It basically boils down to the Social Security thing. That's my thesis for this. Because if you look at everything else, they're not really that bad. What I mean is like, if you're further right-wing, then there's a segment of population in Arizona that likes that. If you are further right-wing on Social Security, all of a sudden you lose the vote because most people are pro-Social Security because either most people are using it or are paying into it actively. So the people that aren't paying into it actively are people that are like 15. Those people aren't voting. So virtually everybody who's voting, who's employed, is paying into Social Security. Like even if a 40-year-old man isn't using it right now, he figures that he will in 30 years, and he's hoping that the program will be around in 2050 for him to use it. So for you to say like, oh, even if you're nuanced about it, like, oh, we're going to sunset it in 2035. So if you're a 40-year-old white guy living in the suburbs, you're telling me that if I vote for the Republican, I'll pay Social Security for 15 more years, plus I won't even get it at the end. That is a ripoff, obviously. So even these half measures that are more optical per se are not really a smart idea. So you ought not touch the issue with a 10-foot pole. And again, it isn't even immigration. Don't listen to these moderate DeSantis people that are like, oh, you shouldn't talk about gay stuff, the trend. No. Double down. That doesn't hurt. That doesn't hurt at all, okay? In Arizona, we're more socially conservative, okay? What hurts is the Trump stuff. That is what is maligned. The Q stuff, anything. And I'm not alleging Blake of making a concerted effort to really be crazy out there. But the point is that complaining about election stuff like this just doesn't fly. And you have to think about it that way. All right. So again, it's kind of a lot like with dating. Okay. What you want to do is be masculine, be conservative, hold down your fort. Don't cuck, but at the same time, don't whine. You don't want to get into the whining territory, right? You don't want to be, so you want to be alpha, but you also don't want to be like, oh, men are so maligned. Men kill themselves. Men are dying in wars. You women are whore. That's like, how women say that small dick energy? They're wrong about that, but they are kind of right insofar as like colloquially, that's what they think of it as being. So think about it that way. What does the layperson think? Not what is true. Don't think about what is true. Think about what the common person thinks. All right. Perception is everything in politics, meaning that who cares if you're right about Social Security? It's whether or not they know that you're right about it, and they don't. So don't even bring it up. Don't be unoptical. And you can say a lot of things that are true in life, but you ought not say that because it'll make you look really bad. Like if you say to your wife, you know what, your mom is gaining weight, that wouldn't fly ever in any circumstance ever because that is just really a third rail of dating, right? You ought not say that, okay? Social Security is a Ponzi scheme. That's kind of true. Ought not say it. I cannot reiterate this enough. You need to be able to be optical at the same time, but being conservative And again, DeSantis is not the answer. You can see that Trump is electable just barely enough. I mean, Trump isn't like a juggernaut, but he's better than most. And he's enough. I think the Trump line is where you need to be at the social issues. And again, lose some of the Trump stuff in regards to how flamboyant he is, in regards to like how bombastic he is, in a straight way. So be careful with that. The ideal candidate realistically is like Adam Laxalt. Now, Adam Laxalt lost for different reasons, and honestly, Adam Laxalt ran a better campaign than did Blake Masters, than did Carrie Lake, and we'll look into that election in another video, I think. But so definitely be more, try to do the Trump thing without being the negative externalities of Trump. Kind of like DeSantis, but not like DeSantis. It's a really nuanced video. I'll leave to the future. So anyways, guys, thank you all for watching. In summary, Blake lost because of the Social Security question. Okay, that's pretty much it. Okay, see y'all.